Hello. Thank you. My legal name is TreyGamer58, and welcome to my Trey Talk, or Trey, or whatever narcissistic wordplay garbo I want to name this segment. Today, I would like you to bring your attention to the subject of review scores. Why they're arbitrary, why everybody hates them, and if they currently don't, should hate them. All while playing unrelated video game footage in the background for eye candy. Isn't it great? Now to start off, I don't believe review scores are inherently a bad concept. At face value, they seem pretty ingenious, giving a product a number between 1 and 10 based off the enjoyment and satisfaction you can get from it. Quick and easy. They are the penultimate condensing of an entire review into one short, simple, universally recognizable combination of symbols. With 1 or 2 numbers and maybe a slash, anyone can get the gist of how good a particular game, movie, book, or pretty much anything is. Is game good? 7 out of 10. Would throw Baby Penguin off cliff again. A 7? This game must suck. Ew, it's got its juices on me. I swear that people seemingly have a general difficulty successfully interpreting what these rankings are attempting to communicate, and even have disagreements on how they should be appropriately utilized. Look, Mommy, I'm using big words. That English Associates wasn't a waste after all. Look, this is what I'm talking about. How good is a 6 out of 10? Mathematically, this fraction suggests that it's technically above average.
It's good!
Meanwhile, your human brain and all its psychological complexities is forcing you to think that this is below average.
Very bad!
So, why is this? Well, here are 3 possibilities I've come up with to explain this phenomenon. Number 1. Big number, big impression. People like high numbers, and so if something seems pretty good, we have a tendency to crank it up. Number 2. We've been doing this for so long that we just assume that it's the norm. If something pretty good comes out and somebody gives it a 6, or heck, nowadays even a 7, there's a chance that people will freak out. Or even the reviewer getting fired. Yeah, that's a thing that actually happened. Number 3, the education system. For most of our lives, we have been engineered to think that anything that gets a 69 or below is an F. Very bad and unacceptable. I guess the 60s can be argued to be Ds, but that's just diet F. C's are passable, but your mom might still yell at you. B is the golden standard you should be striving for. And A's are exceptional and get hung up on the fridge. I don't think it's a bad thing that our schools are trying to get us to be as correct as humanly possible instead of just settling with us being half right. But when we see these familiar numbers being used in such a similar context, this is just how we think now. Tell me I'm wrong. 6 out of 10, good or bad? Don't tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what you're instinctively thinking. 6 out of 10, good or bad? In relation to what? Every game ever made? The current AAA lineup? Just games that you have experienced? Should indie games only be compared to other indie games? Is it right to give a game that's pretty fun the same score as something that's pretty much as much fun but had a lot more hard work and graphics shoved into it, and looks nice and has better presentation and is probably longer? Are you starting with a 5 and then raising or lowering it based on experience? Should it be possible for a game to achieve a 10 out of 10? Maybe if you're comparing it to other games, but doesn't a 10 imply perfection? Something we all know is an impossibility? I mean, we all know you can't please everyone. Oh yeah, not to mention eras and generations. Would something that earned a 9 out of 10 back in the day get it if it was released today? With all the advancements in technologies, techniques, and scale, you look at the original cut of Star Wars now and it's pretty hokey, but all of this was top of the line back in '77. Should old games be rated differently? Should we factor in the inevitable test of time? Review scores inherently suggest that there's some kind of standardization going on, but I swear, everyone draws a different starting line. I and many others have noticed a common occurrence that I would like to be dubbed the 5 to 10 scale. It's exactly what it sounds like. Look at any major multimedia game reviewing publication like, selecting from a totally random pool, IGN. If they are covering a game being released by a large publisher you know could be giving incentives behind the scenes, or a game with so much hype surrounding it that they would want to avoid causing major outrage to themselves, they are likely following a 5 to 10 scale. Everything else most people don't care about factors in the 1 to 5 potential, making it a true 1 to 10 scale. You get what I'm saying? Look, I'm not accusing anybody of taking bribes. This is just a trend I, anecdotally, noticed. Oh, and don't even get me started on decimals and 0 to 100 scales. Those two are practically the same thing. Ooh, 7.9 out of 10. Is that implying that it should be an 8 if your pre-patch early press copy didn't glitch away your save file? Just say 7.5 if it's a true in-between. Like, come on. Why you gotta have all these freaking stupid rules, IGN? Like, what the heck? I guess it makes sense if you're like reviewing a bunch of games and pretty much treating the rating system like a tier list and still trying to judge them against each other. That's the only explanation I can think of for these extra more numbers, I guess. Even if they do look weird and arbitrary. So yeah, whenever somebody gives you a review score, you're going to have to exercise some discernment on where they're coming from and what the number actually means. Generally, big outlets typically operate on 5 to 10 scales where 8s are good and whatnot, and your standard non-fan YouTuber typically goes by the traditional 1 to 10 where 6 are good, typically. I don't think this is something anyone should have to do, you know, but sorry America, sometimes you actually gotta read the review. I believe all of these problems are stemming from the fact that we are trying to use an objective-based system to measure something that's primarily subjective. I mean, there are objective things, like if a game is riddled with glitches or not, but even then, how much do they detract from one's personal experience and enjoyment? Different strokes for different folks, yeah, it's no secret that everybody has different tastes and preferences. What one person may like, another would dislike. What one person may give an 8 out of 10, another may give it a 4. There's nothing wrong with that, but then how can we get enough information from one review? There's a good chance that the reviewer may just suck and not truly understand the game. IGN's God Hand 2 out of 10. GameSpot's Alien Resurrection controlled the diatribe 7.7 out of 10, even though it became industry standard. IGN's infamous Pokemon Gen 3 remake 7.8. Too much water. I'll talk about game journalists and the importance of their competency whenever the dumb controversy of game difficulty and inclusivity surfaces again, whenever the next From Software game or teeth-skinning indie darling or official Nintendo Tash / easy win button comes out. I think there is a way to overcome this problem though. Review aggregation, like Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes. Take all the review scores that the major publications give and combine them into one juicy average. Also, have a section where everyday fans can chime in with a prominent overall score too. It may not solve that pesky 5 to 10 mentality, but if something's actually good or bad, then mass opinion should reflect it, right? Right? Even if they usually spam hundreds of zeros or whatever? I believe it can, to an extent. Plus, even if there's a bad score for a game that keeps getting perfect reviews and is really, really good, it can be reflective that nothing is perfect and that you can't please everybody. sometimes these people are a necessary evil. Well, not literally, but, figuratively, a necessary evil. I believe game reviews are important and have a place in the industry, giving people an idea of what a game is like before committing to a purchase, even if it's unlikely that they would form similar thoughts as the reviewer while playing. I just think review scores, mostly the way they are being used, it is dumb, and people should be more wary rather than take the numbers at face value. Maybe take a peek at a website's About Our Reviews and Scores system page, or maybe get a feel for their review score style through experience. Maybe it's time for a review score revolution and set up a universal standardization, or put the numbers in the hands of the people, or just bar them all outright if you're an extremist killjoy. I'm not sure, I don't really care. I mainly just get games I'm interested in despite what the reviewers say, which is what I hear a lot of people trying to discredit the idea that reviewers should even exist say. Although, if I would agree with these people, which I definitely don't, I would be hypocritical because they have kept me from making mistakes in the past, like how I almost bought Star Fox Zero at full price. But then again, I was already wary of that game because it was a soft remake instead of a full new game, if you get me. We all have games that we're definitely going to get no matter what reviewers say, but I think reviews shine with games you're not sure about purchasing, and heck, maybe they'll introduce you to a game you never know you needed. Playing something for yourself and forming your own opinion instead of taking another's is nice and all, but we all got limited time and money. There's nothing like going into a game blind, but that leaves you open to being blindsided with hot garbage. Normally, I'd recommend watching and reading reviewers that you can associate with. Ones that have similar tastes with you because, you may hate a game that's reviewed well or a loved one that's bombed. But then again, someone that has differing opinions and tastes than yours can bring up new insights you may not have considered. I feel like if you're going to do review scores, you should try using stars. They are practically 1 to 5 scales, 1 to 10 scales if half stars are involved, but I feel like the fact that they aren't numbers don't trigger your subconscious grading methods, and heck, probably are even more universal, though a bit more roomy. I feel like people are more tolerant of 3 stars or even 2-star reviews, and, well, 5 stars seem more realistic and achievable. So, why did you guys not buy this hype beast? It says here in the customer profiles that you guys were interested, but then decided against. Can any of you explain? Well, I heard it was a glitchy mess and the mechanics don't seem to mesh well with each other, so I'm just waiting for a sale. Alright, what about you?
Polygon gave it a 6 out of 10.
IGN gave it 7.9 out of 10.
Facebook gave it a wooden plank out of 10.
Wait. So, why did Polygon rate it a 6 out of 10?
Polygon gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, review scores sell games, so pay off reviewers instead of taking honest feedback and fixing problems. Wait, hold up. Thank you all for your honest feedback. In summary, please try to actually understand their reasoning for liking or disliking a game rather than just going off a single simple number that can literally mean anything. Oh man. I just wrote all of that off the top of my head in like a span of a few hours without doing any external research first. Like 4 double-sided pages worth of blech. Something I could only do when a paper is reaching its due date back in college. I just did it on a whim. Wow. Yeah, maybe I'll continue this series. Let's see some other points people came up with. Metacritic is stupid only because review scores are stupid. I'll have all these other videos and articles in the description as recommended readings and watchings on the subjects. Apparently there's a lot of hate towards the aggregation site, more than I thought there would be, because probably having major flaws I must be overlooking. I thought they were a clever idea in order to get rid of dissonance between reviews and accumulate a more accurate score for a product, but I guess this system is flawed because, well, in execution because, people are stupid. Also, though I already knew they were overrated and popular, man, people must be really obsessive over review scores. using them to compare games and whatnot. Like, my favorite game is better than your favorite game because it has 3 more points on the Metacritics. Like, shut up, nerd. Actually know why you like something. It'll make your life more fulfilling. Plus, yeah, the trouble of an objective system based off of subjective tasks. Should we really be putting numbers in? Well, yeah, I expected at least one person to cry for abolishment, at least for this very messy usage. This also seems to have created a culture where people just intake a number into their eyeball and don't even care about what the actual review says. It allows for game journalists to be more lazy and keeps people from having to form an actual educated opinion. Also, it seems to feel like people freaking don't even know how numbers work. Ooh, Mark Brown from Game Maker's Toolkit, one of my favorite channels on this Forsaken website, has commented on the subject. I bet he'll give us a nice, sophisticated opinion on the matter for us to ponder over.
Hi, this is Mark Brown with Game Maker's Toolkit, a series on video game design.
Yo, game review scores are so dumb. They're so dumb that OpenCritic's worst rating has to be for anything below 69%. Yep. My suspicion that people saying anything below 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 as utter trash has been confirmed. Let's look at Days Gone, for example. From what I'm hearing, it is the pinnacle of mediocrity this year and sounds like it's deserving of a 4 out of 10 or heck, even a 5 out of 10, even on a 5 to 10 scale, but here it is on Metacritic, sitting here with a pretty 7 out of 10, and people are complacent with that. Is this just a stigma that we can change, or do we gotta accept this as our reality? If you're a reviewer yourself that likes to use scores, should you might as well use a 5 to 10 system in order not to miscommunicate your perceived rating to people? Or do you gotta explain your system to people every time? Probably the best thing to do is add like a word next to it, like 8 out of 10, amazing, or 5 out of 10, pretty average or okay, or 6 out of 10, slightly above average. Oh, don't worry, I'm not just looking for affirmations to my opinions. I think this is actually a majority. A lot of people are concerned about this, and don't worry, there are people that think that review scores are good and important and are perfectly fine and they are the way forward and people should be allowed to review a game however the heck they want to. I'm pretty sure the big companies would fight tooth and nail to convince you that review scores are aight, with big publishers wanting to slap high numbers in their product promotions. Despite potential detractors, it seems like the mass majority, or at least the loudest voices covering the subject, think review scores are arbitrary and even harmful to the game industry. So yeah, just as I said, arbitrary, everyone hates them, and I just told you why everybody hates them. Mic drop. I already did my summary. I'm Trey Gamer 58. Something something, ideas worth censoring. Now, where's my YouTube money? Where is it? I want to know. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps a lot. So I can get another showing. Please, I don't want to live on the streets again.